Hello everyone, we are live. Welcome. This is still only 35 cents. It's the Merry Monday Mailcall Show. This is a special edition. We are coming to you live from Palm Springs, or I am coming to you live from Palm Springs. There are several other people in this room, but they're being very quiet, which is great. I wanted to share this one with you today. I've just got back. I went to WonderCon on Friday. Caught up with a few people, went around the show before coming out to Palm Springs. Just as a bit of background, I'm about to get married this week. So there's a whole bunch of family here. We are staying in an amazing house. I'm super happy. This is Bob Hope's old residence here in Palm Springs. So a little glimpse of the amazing, I'll give you a little of some of the decor in here. It's very retro and very cool. So enjoying being here. Looking forward to the wedding is going to be on Tuesday. So wish us all luck if you're out there. Again, a little housekeeping. If you're in the chat or live, feel free to post any questions, any comments. We'll try and answer them as we go. I'm going to give you a sense of the show, WonderCon. Really enjoyed it this time. Again, it's a great show. I really like going to this one. It has a number of comic dealers. CGC were there, which is good. So I was able to submit some books. I did a previous video earlier last week where I went through all the books that I was submitting and also a question out to you guys in the audience around what books I should submit, particularly in terms of signature series. And I'll give you a bit of a story on that. There will be a video coming later this week with some interesting snippets from the show itself, a few views of the dealers. I've actually was lucky enough to capture some video of Marv Wolfman signing the book. So that's a bit of a clue that I did end up getting some books signed, signature series with him. But yeah, I thought I'd give you a sense of the show and who I caught up with. I've posted a couple of shorts, or will be posting a couple of shorts around that experience on the Friday. It's a shame I couldn't have gone on Saturday. But we were driving up to Palm Springs from LA in the rain. That was not the best experience, but we got there in the end, which is good. Settled in, looking forward to a few days relaxing before the nuptials. So yeah, very excited to be married to my future wife. She's a great human being. So it's great to have the family around, friends around. A lot of people have traveled from around the world. I've got a friend sitting across from me now from New Zealand. So yes, looking forward to it. So maybe we should get into the actual WonderCon show. Now, look, it was the thing that I liked about WonderCon is that it does have, as I say, a decent turnout from dealers and from CGC are there. The thing that I also love the most is the cosplay. For some reason, it's just because it's California and the weather's generally beautiful, people congregate outside. So you get a lot of great cosplay as well as seeing great comic books from great dealers. And again, the video that's coming out next week, you'll get to see that. So just as a bit of background, I did submit a whole heap of books that was mentioned in that previous video. Now, one thing that was really good that they were doing at the show, if you submitted your books. So I turned up, the show opened at midday. I turned up pretty much about 20 minutes after that and went straight to CGC, wanted to get the books out in there with them submitted, all done. One of the things that they were doing at the show, and I managed to pick up, is they were giving away, once you submitted books, either for Express or through the normal submission process, they were giving away free pins, celebrating the 85th birthday of Batman and, can you see that? The 50th anniversary of Wolverine. So I opted for this Wolverine's 50th birthday pin. Unfortunately, only graded out of 5.0. Seriously, folks, it was a good, nice little touch with the claws in the background. So happy to pick that one up and put that in the pin collection. Why is that not focusing? It's focusing on my fingers. There you go. I want to focus on that. Lower that. So happy to get that. Nice little trinket to add to the mix. As you recall from the video, if you've seen it, and I'll put a link to those when we do publish this to the main channel, and it goes no longer live, but just the normal content. I'll put a link to that previous video where we talk about the submission. But one thing I wanted to share with you is this book that I did grab from my address in the US that has been sitting there for a while, and I toyed with cracking this open, but unfortunately Marv was only signing up until I think 3 o'clock in the afternoon. No, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I tell a lie. 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And unfortunately, I managed to, once I'd done the submission, it was 1:45. And so I had to make a choice in terms of whether or not I cracked this book open. So I left this book uncracked, and you'll see why. So it's DC Comics Presents number 26. This is a 9.6 signature series book. This is signed by George Perez. And so what I wanted to do was get Marv's signatures alongside George Perez's signature on this. But unfortunately, I ran out of time in terms of getting this cracked open by CGC. Didn't want to take the risk of missing Marv because he had to go to a panel. So this one stays in the PC for now. If Marv appears at a future show that I'm attending, I'll probably crack this one out and see what we can do with this. I have a suspicion, I've looked at this, it looks like it probably could be a 9-8 candidate, and I think that's going to be an interesting thing we'll talk about in a minute, is the 9-9 versus 9-8 controversy, because the future video is going to be touching on that, because Metropolis Comics were also there, and I was lucky enough to sort of get a bit of a soundbite from one of the people on their stall there about the whole controversy. They didn't have the 9.9 book itself there. Ironically, though, they did have a 9.8 giant size X-Men there. So again, I was looking at the new 9.9 that they're putting forward, and I was like, okay, that's got a bit of a staple rub on that. And the 9.8 that I was looking at didn't seem to sort of be demonstrating that issue. So fascinating sort of situation. Again, when you see the video, you'll understand. I was not necessarily critical, but I was asking probing questions. So let me know what you think of this one. Should I crack it open, give it a shot? I think it's one of those where I think if it got a clean and press, and the only problem you've got with that is you have to actually have it cleaned and pressed by CGC because of the signature series label. So maybe this could hit the 9.8. Who knows? We'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I wanted to give you a sense of the actual con itself. So CGC was there, as I mentioned. There was quite a big artist alley. The only problem is there wasn't as much choice that you would get at, say, WonderCon, Heroes Con, for instance, where there's a plethora of creators. There was a sort of handful of creators, very similar to Emerald City Comic Con, like minimal numbers. Marv was obviously there and was one of the featured guests. David Mack was there again, and a number of other sort of artists and writers, but it was quite limited on the ground in terms of the creators that you really want to sort of go out and get signatures from. I did also manage to bump into John from Bronze and Modern Gods, albeit very, very briefly. He was submitting at CGC and CBCS, so it was interesting to sort of see what books he had. We caught up for probably about 10 or 15 minutes before I had to leave to head up to Palm Springs. But yeah, managed to take in the vast majority of the dealers that were around. And interestingly, they were all around the CGC booth. So that was fascinating to see that. I'd seen that a few times, but it was in most shows, you tend to sort of find CGC booth reasonably close to the creators as opposed to the dealers. In this one, they were really close to the dealers, but they were miles away from the artists. So it was a little bit of a problem in terms of getting from A to B and the timing. So made the most of that. And as I say, I got finally settled on those books that I showed you for Marv Wolfram and actually got him signed. So that will be in an upcoming video. I've got video of him actually signing the books. And I also showed him my DC Comics Presents 26 UK price variant, which he'd never seen before. And so that was a little bit of an entertaining moment to sort of put that in front of him and see what he thought of that. He'd never seen one before. So it was a really nice moment where he'd seen a book that he hadn't actually seen before. So that was good. Pickups wise, didn't get too much from the show because I had very limited time. What I did pick up though were really key books that I've been looking for. One in particular has been on the wish list for a while, and I'll take you that through in a minute. What I did get, and I covered this, I recently showed you these Star Wars 3-packs that I have been looking for. Now I've got issues 1 to 3 3-pack, issues 4 to 6 3-pack, and then the issues 7 to 9 3-pack. And I wasn't sure how long these 3-packs with this logo. Now this logo is the original Star Wars logo, I believe by someone called Susie Reed, who designed this post the first iteration, and then it changed to the logo that you see today. Originally her logo had this amazing W, sort of angular W as opposed to, but you can see that the vast majority of the logo is pretty much the same. Now, after talking to John on these, I picked this up for $15. So there's 3 books in here, so $5 a pop. Very happy. It's got issue 16, 17, and 18. Issue 16 is notable because it's the first appearance of Vance the Bounty Hunter, I believe. And that issue has a cover by Walt Simonson, and I think breakdowns by Walt Simonson as well. And then it's got, as you can see, this one here, that's the Walt Simonson issue. And this is that classic Empire Strikes cover that was issued before the Empire Strikes Back title came out. So super happy to get this, finishing off that collection. And now, as I said, according to John, they ran these packs with this logo up until about issue 28. So as you can imagine, I fell down that Star Wars multi-pack collecting rabbit hole, and now I need to get the rest of those up to issue 28. But yeah, I just love the way these are presented with those old logos. The comics inside are still in a reasonably good shape. Not going to crack them open and submit them, but you'll see here, Whitman variant on the bottom. Whitman variants are starting to get a little bit of recognition now in terms of price. So I am looking forward to putting that in the collection. And then the other big pickup for the day was a book that's been on my wish list for a while. And doing a little bit of digging, I also found out, I didn't know this, or I knew that there was a prototype of Swamp Thing out there, but I didn't realize it was this issue. Now I've got a number of books of Swamp Thing coming in for future videos, but this one is House of Mystery 195 with this classic Bernie Wrightson cover, beautifully realized with the bat swamping over the guy here. This I got from a dealer. It's near mint minus is the grade that they've given it. It looks amazing. Let me just see if I can get it into view for you. There you go. Looks amazing, but beautifully as well. In addition to that classic cover, it's got the first prototype of Swamp Thing, which appeared prior to that House of Secrets issue that is credited as his first appearance. So looking at the artwork on it, it's amazing in terms of seeing that prototype in that book, but super happy to get it. Now, bit of a story on this one. The dealers are, or did seem to be, very hungry to sell. So this was priced up at $375 US. Now, I luckily had 300 in cash, and so I just made a bit of a sort of random offer. So anyone who ever tells you don't make a cheeky offer to a dealer, you should. So I offered $300 for this cash, and he took it. So this beautiful book is now in my possession. Not sure if I should grade it yet. It looks immaculate. It does look every bit a 9.2. So I'll probably end up submitting this at Heroes Con when I'm out there for that book or for that show. But yeah, let me know what you think of this. If you've got this issue, if you've read this issue, really love to hear your thoughts. So that's my big key for the show. I was after another book, but unfortunately he had sold that. But this I was super happy to be going home with. And then post that, I left the con and headed out. But as I say, I will be posting a video for you guys around some of the dealers that were there. One of the things I also got to do was film some amazing original art. There was an original art dealer there with a whole bunch of really, really nice original art pieces. Unfortunately, they're so expensive, they're completely out of my reach, but managed to get some really good footage of that. So stay tuned for see that. And as this is the Merry Monday Mailcall Show, I thought I'd also share with you a number of books that I picked up from my storage locker over here, which have been sitting there for a while, but I was finally able to pick them up coming through LA. So let me take you through those one by one, and we'll see how we go in terms of these books. These are not super keys, but some of them are sort of minor keys. But really interesting to see what books I've sort of picked up over the last year and a half or so that have been sitting here in storage waiting for me to come and grab them. So we'll start off with a Secret Wars #1, first print, direct edition. This one I picked up from Future Past Vintage Collectibles, near mint. I've got a number of these that I've graded and own. So this is the first appearance of the Beyonder, which I'm hearing very strange rumors about that Henry Cavill might be cast as the Beyonder. So looking forward to seeing him with a dodgy suit and curly hair. Speaking of dodgy suits and curly hair, we've got a Secret Wars #8 with the aforementioned Beyonder with his silly suit and buffed up hair. This is the penultimate issue for Secret Wars 2, which I think was released 2 years later, or maybe 3 years later, post the Secret Wars series, with Beyonder coming to Earth. So it's an interesting and great cover. I really do like this cover, especially with, as I say, 80s man on that 80s man Beyonder on that front cover. Also got a Marvel Comics #23, trying to complete that run. So this goes towards helping with that one. And then I got a series of early Jim Lee art Alpha Flights. So I've got here issue 61 with this great Jim Lee cover. Very, very early in terms of his art style. And you'll see that on a number of these covers here that I'm going to show you. Let me just zoom in just a little bit. You can still see his sort of signature style, but he's still very much embryonic in terms of how he creates his poses, etc. But it's still recognizably Jim Lee, and you can see his signature down the bottom there. That's issue 61. Picked up an issue 62 with Purple Man back in there, and then you can see again, let me just zoom in on here, Jim Lee's signature there with Al Milgrom inking over the top. That's issue 62. Issue 63, I'm not sure if this is a Jim Lee cover, but I'll show it just for posterity anyway. I think he was still doing the art in these issues. And these issues, I think, predate his run on X-Men, and is actually what got him that gig on the X-Men book. And you can see the transition from these stories all the way through to his future issues at X-Men, just how his style evolved over the time. But these are, again, if you can seek these out, early Jim Lee issues, they're so good. This is issue 64. I was a big fan of Alpha Flight back in the day and quite liked the way they were trying to reinvigorate the team here in terms of the characters. And having Jim Lee on pencils, an early Jim Lee, was a bonus as well, especially when you're going, the art was super great. So let's just zoom in on that. So again, you get your Jim Lee cover, pretty impressive with Snowbird and Sasquatch. So great book to pick up. Then I got this beautiful Master of Kung Fu Annual 1. I think there's only one annual for the Master of Kung Fu series. This is that issue. So super happy to pick that up. I'm not sure who did the cover on that one, but may cover that in a future issue. Then we've got Fantastic Four. You know I'm collecting my 25th anniversary covers. So I managed to pick up this Fantastic Four 296 thing cover, Barry Windsor Smith drawn on that front cover. This one again was from Future Past Vintage Collectibles, near mint plus, so excellent condition. Thinking about getting this graded and starting up that 25th anniversary frames. What's interesting, and you may have seen last week's Merry Monday Mail Call, where we talked through those terrific and fantastic issues. Let me just check. No comments so far. Yeah, so I talked through these fantastic and terrific Marvel, or not Marvel, early UK Marvel reprints. Now, what I didn't realize when I was going through that video is that Barry Windsor Smith did the vast majority of those Marvel powerhouse pinups at the back and some of the cover work. So I'll be going and doing a little bit of a deep dive on those, because that's really interesting. He did those before he moved over to the US and started working for Marvel proper. But yeah, there's some really interesting pieces. So if you get a chance, again, I'll put a link at the end of the video here, post the live stream, so you can go back and look at that and see some of those early Barry Windsor Smith pieces of art. Next up, I'm also trying to complete my Marvel Team Up run. So I managed to get this Marvel Team Up 133, Spider-Man and the Fantastic Four, with an amazing John Byrne cover there of Spidey and the Fantastic Four team. That's that one. And then on top of that, I got this smash cover of Marvel Team Up, Spider-Man and Nick Fury, issue 139. Always liked this cover purely because of the fact I love smashed logo covers, like the Thor 345 Beta Ray Bill. Just any of them where they just break the logo. I think 345 for the Incredible Hulk as well is a great one, and I covered that in last week's live stream as well, or in the submission video. Then I've got a copy of 381 of Thor. That's a classic, beautiful Walt Simonson cover with Thor in his destroyer armor. Then I've got a 388 Thor. I managed to pick up this newsstand copy of Iron Man 174 with all of the Iron Man suits, different marks, versions of the suits. I got another newsstand of issue 193 of Iron Man. Got a key issue in terms of Iron Man 225 from the Armor Wars Limited run. So lovely to get that. Again, this is a near mint from Future Past Vintage Collectibles. Bob Layton artwork. And then following on from the Master of Kung Fu, I managed to pick up this one from Future Past Vintage Collectibles. This is Master of Kung Fu 101 with a classic Mike Zeck cover there. Beautifully realized. Really like that book. Next up, a couple of Daredevils. Daredevil 237. Was never really that keen on that cover, but again, this goes towards completing that Daredevil run. Issue 239 with a Rick Leonardi cover there. And then talking about Mike Zeck, picked up a bunch of Captain America issues with Mike Zeck covers. So first of all, we've got 278 with Cap against Baron Zemo. Newsstand, by the way, newsstand. And another newsstand, issue 277 with another Baron Zemo cover and Mike Zeck art. So again, perfect to help complete the run I'm trying to get at. There you go. You can see it clearly there. Picked up this 1 in 25 variant of the new Fantastic Four, where they brought together the new Fantastic Four: Ghost Rider, Hulk, Wolverine, and Spider-Man. And this 125 has an amazing Walt Simonson cover on it, so had to pick that up. Wasn't too pricey for it's near mint plus 1 in 25. Got it for about $8, so that's a great little pickup. I think it was priced originally at 25, so to get it at 8 is great. So happy with that. Then I managed to get this as well from Future Past Vintage Collectibles. This is signed by Roy Thomas. So I'll be submitting this, I think, to CGC when they do the verification. What's notable about this one, as well as a story by Roy Thomas on The Guardian, this features, I think, one of the last known pieces or published pieces of art by Jack Kirby. If you look here, it's not exactly the best realized illustration, but it is Kirby art, so happy to get that in the PC. Then we've got a copy of, I mentioned the Hulk 345, got a newsstand copy of 346, which I think from memory was the last issue of Todd McFarlane art on the title. It does have this Eric Larson cover, but interior, I believe, is Todd McFarlane. So this was the final issue that Todd actually drew on The Incredible Hulk before they had the whole Joe Fixit run where he turns up in Vegas, where he was drawn by another artist. But yeah, this was Todd's final issue, I believe, on The Incredible Hulk. Then we've got another one for my Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man run. This is issue 117. Where is Spider-Man? He's gone missing, and you've got Black Cat and Doctor Strange on the front cover. We've got a Web of Spider-Man number 6, that classic building turns to gold, but part of the Secret Wars 2 run. Again, the Beyonder turns that building into pure gold. This is one of 2 parts across, I think it's Web of Spider-Man and Amazing Spider-Man. The second one, this one has Spidey in his classic suit, but the other piece, it's an adjoining cover, and as he swings, he turns into the black suit on that other copy. Another Amazing Spider-Man, I got 2 of these, ordered them inadvertently. One is a near mint minus, one is a near mint plus. This is the near mint plus, this is the near mint minus. Issue Amazing Spider-Man, let me just try and get them in. Amazing Spider-Man 242, that's the near mint minus. You can probably tell that from some of the slight imperfections on it. But then this is the one that I'm going to be keeping in the PC. So issue 242 with John Romita Jr. art on the front cover. And then potentially to close us off today, it's going to be a short one because I have to get ready. So this is Amazing Spider-Man 323. Again, Todd McFarlane art. That classic cover with Captain America and Spider-Man on the front, and what looks like Captain America eating a few biscuits down the bottom. Looks a little bit chubby for my Captain America. But, you know, that was how Todd and our friend Rob Liefeld like to draw people, all big muscles and patches. Luckily, we don't have any patches on Captain America this time. So still a classic cover, still great to have in the PC. So, yeah. So that's it for today. As I say, didn't have too much books, just wanted to share with you the sense and vibe from WonderCon. It was a great show to be able to attend. I'm looking forward to heading out to Charlotte later this year for Heroes Con. A lot more creators there. I'll be taking a whole bunch of different books. And I'll probably do another video around other books I'm going to be taking to that con for grading as well. There are a number of other books that I do have here to share with you guys, but I'll save that for next Monday's mail call, because technically it's Sunday here, and I'm just doing my Monday mail call today. So again, as always, if you like the video, please hit the like button down below. It really helps get us more eyeballs for the channel. It's great to have you here. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. You'll get access to future content, and ring that notification bell so you know when those new videos are coming out. So with that, I will leave you to your Sunday here in the US, your Monday in Australia, and I'll see you soon. Take care.